At 5, apparently, I told everyone I was going to be a fire truck, which
an actual truck.
Probably, aesthetically is difficult.
Welcome to A Cup of Tea with Bree, where I get to know some of North Queensland's most amazing parents, incredible business people, and today an inspiring character. Now, if you live in Cairns and you like to listen to the radio on your way to work or school or in the office, chances are you've heard a fair bit of today's guest, Elliott Lovejoy's voice. He, over the years, has broadcasted in a number of countries all around the globe, but he feels very lucky to be back in Cairns where he grew up on Triple M Breakfast. So please welcome Elliott, one half of the Triple M Breakfast crew.
Full half, essentially.
Full half, really.
It's just kind of me and
that was a quarter.
No one else. It's like a million different co-hosts. You come on and a million other people. Yeah,
you get pretty desperate. You invite half of Cairns to the studio.
Yeah, I essentially do, yeah. I'm easy in that sense, but...
so I shouldn't feel special.
No, but you do get what do you get? Tuesday? No, we have you on a Friday, so it's end of the week.
You don't even know what day I am.
No, it all rolls.
By the end of the week, it's kind of like, well,
Friday 7:30, Bree's on Triple M.
I love it. So tell me, Elliott, where were you born?
I was born in Tamworth, country town, New South Wales.
Explains a lot.
No, it does. Then I grew up most of my childhood in the Torres Strait on TI. And sort of, I think my heart stayed there, to be honest. And then I came to Cairns for high school, went to St Augustine's and went from there.
Wow. So what brought your family from Tamworth to TI?
Divorces, yeah. So my parents remarried and my mum was with my stepdad. He was a copper in Queensland, so he went up as a sergeant to TI. And then, we came down to Cairns. He stayed a copper for a bit longer after that. So.
Wow. Yeah. So what was life like growing up in Tamworth?
Oh, TI, I grew up in Tamworth.
So you were just born in Tamworth?
Yeah, I was actually there, I think, until I was 2.
Okay.
And then I was up in TI. I loved it. Like, I don't think I ever realised that obviously it's a Torres Strait culture and, part of my family is Indigenous, but I am the whitest guy in the world. And I didn't ever feel that difference when I was there. So we grew up fishing and I didn't wear shoes till I was like 12. It was brilliant. Like, if you haven't been to TI, it's the best place.
Wow.
Yeah, besides Cairns.
Besides Cairns, of course. So you moved here when you started going to high school?
Just before, I think. I did 2 years more of primary school here at Holy Cross at Trinity Park and went to St Mary's for a year. I think Mum realised that girls were a distraction at that stage. It didn't change much. I went to Saints and flunked, but I don't know, I still went there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So brothers and sisters?
Half brother on Dad's side, so he's 19, and I've got 2 stepsisters. They're in Brizzy, so is my brother, but different sides because there's so many steps now. I feel like I've got like 20 dads and mums, and I can't keep up with people anymore.
So how many dads do you have?
So I got dad, stepdad, but then my partner's dad is like a dad as well. But then she has a stepdad too, so there's 4 in total. And then we went to pick favourites. So actually, we're going to Vegas for our Bucks party thing, which will be interesting.
So you and 4 dads?
Me and 4 dads, which is not the script I would have written 10 years ago, but here we are.
And what about on the mum side?
Mum... I don't have a stepmom anymore. And then, again, my partner's mum, we're pretty close with and whatever, so...
Aww.
Yeah.
So that's the family of the 21st century, I guess, lots of halves and...
Yeah, it's... But yeah, my stepdad and I, because I've been around him since I was 2, we're probably as close, or Dad and I are really close, and so is my stepdad and I, and they're mates.
That's
great. When Dad comes to visit, they go on fishing trips, I'll come home and expect to see Dad, and Mum's like, they're out fishing again,
Wow,
so, yeah. That's
incredible. So being a divorce, family of divorce, they were pretty good.
Yeah, obviously I don't remember when I was young, but they were always good in that Mum would make time for me to go and see Dad because he's in Brizzy. And yeah, it was, on my end, it was never particularly difficult. So
that's great. So what did you want to be when you grew up then?
From what age? At 5, apparently, I told everyone I was going to be a fire truck, which...
An actual truck.
Probably, aesthetically is difficult. I actually did some study to join the coppers.
Okay.
Because I did a bit of travel overseas when I first finished high school. I thought I was going to be an athlete. That didn't work out. I came back. I didn't know what I was doing. I worked at the Menunda Super Cheap Auto. Didn't know anything about cars, but I was trying to work out what I was going to do. I did some study for police. I applied for that, and I was doing that in Brizzy. And whilst I was waiting for the application, because it's like a sort of a 10-month period, they were saying at that stage, came up to Cairns, and I had a mate working at Bumma Bipra, which is the Indigenous radio station. And he was doing breakfast, his name's Benny, and I went and saw him one day, and then the next day he's like, "Oh, I'll just come and do the show for a bit." So I did, and straight away I was like, "Yep, that's what I want to do." So I sent out probably 600 demos across Australia, and I sent stuff again and again and again. And then for about 7 or 8 months, I got a phone call for the Coppers at about 11:30 in the morning saying I got in. And an hour later, I got a job offer in Broken Hill for $33,000, and I took Broken Hill. And packed up my bags, and drove to the middle of nowhere where they filmed like Mad Max and stuff, and started there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And never looked back.
No, I can't imagine doing anything else now. Like I do a bit of, I've only just started getting into footy commentary because it's what my grandpa always did, and that's something that I'm really passionate about too. But yeah, I'm hoping the two can go hand in hand for the foreseeable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it like being in Broken Hill?
Oh, I can't think of a word. Not a nice one. It was tough. It was because it was the first time, like I'd moved out of home and whatever, but I'd always had that blanket of family. Broken Hill, I was so far away, and for anyone to come and visit, even from Brisbane, you have to get a Rex flight, which is like $1,000 return. So I didn't see anyone during that time. I got like a rescue dog, and it had really bad separation anxiety, so it got to a point where I had to rehome it, like I was just all by myself. But if I hadn't have done it, I probably wouldn't be in radio now, because you need to start somewhere. So after there I went...
How long were you there for?
Only a few months. So I was there 3 or 4 months. It was a tough kind of gig, and I learned as much as I could, but I was doing like 14, 15-hour days because I was breakfast and I was head of like making commercials, because it's such a small place. I think we had like 4 staff there, or 3 staff. So I was there a few months. I took a job in Berry in South Australia, like the Riverlands, which is beautiful. I was there maybe not even a year, and I got a phone call about the Cairns gig. At Hot FM at the time, and I went up. I was obviously up here a few years, and then some more moves after that. But
wow,
yeah, so
pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's funny how it's panned out. Like, because Hot FM went to Canada after that.
You went to Canada?
Yeah, I was on air at Niagara Falls. And then once the contract finished, I came back to Australia. Was at a station for a bit in Victoria. Then went to Abu Dhabi, and now back here.
What was it like being in Dubai?
It was tough, because I like to think I'm very forward thinking, yes, but I'm also, I have pretty set views on things, and I didn't find it to be the nicest country in the world in terms of you're not treated equally, in a sense that I don't mean me, but if you go over there as a labourer from certain countries, you're treated like you're below certain people and whatever. Like, it's very much, yes, it's forward in that, they've got brand new racetracks and roads and whatever, but it's very backward in the way people are treated. And as much as I probably have sometimes a tougher exterior, like I do actually genuinely care about people, and I just didn't agree with the ethics of the country, and which I've put out in some articles while I was over there, which didn't sit well, so I thought I was going to get deported before I even left. And then Triple M, there were some calls about that, and it was just, I wanted to get back home anyway, and I wanted to move back to Cairns, so I packed my bags, and a couple of months later I was here.
And you've been on air all year?
Yeah, I think we started in November, and it's the first time I'd done a solo show. As you said, like, we have guests and whatever on there, but it was the first time I'd done just me, and I think I'm a perfectionist with it, because something stuffs up, if there's a bad spot we do or whatever, or a wrong word comes out. If there's 2 of us, it's like, we made a mistake, whatever, we'll learn from it. But when it's like it's my brand, that I'm probably a harsh mark, and our boss says that all the time. Look, I could probably go a bit easier on myself, but I don't know, I love it.
You do a great job, and it wouldn't be easy being by yourself. So tell me now something most people wouldn't know about you.
I was thinking about this. I'm ambidextrous.
Are you?
Yeah, but in the worst possible way, in that I don't have a dominant hand because they both suck. So I can't write. Like, I literally physically can't write. If I was to write a sentence for you right now with either hand, I don't think you'd be able to read either one. But then, like, if I was to play tennis, I'd play left-handed. If I was to throw a ball, I'd do it right-handed. Like, I feel like I was born with like two of the same arm, just fingers in different. Like, it's so stupid. Like, to have a skill and for it to be that bad. It's not like they're both amazing. They're just both equally terrible. So
awesome. So you can blame your hands and if you press the wrong button at work and things like that.
I never got my pen license, in like schools, I think grade 5 or 6, they'd be like, oh, Janie, congratulations on your pen license. I was the one kid. I wasn't even a naughty kid. It was just like, yeah, Elliott, like, I wish I had iPads like I have them now because I would have been safe. But,
you would have gotten your iPad.
But yeah, the buttons at work, I know what Go does. I don't really know what a lot else of it does, so I try not to touch it. It blows up.
Great idea.
So, yeah.
So what's been one of your best personal achievements?
Career-wise or just whatever? Probably my engagement. My partner and I got engaged in December. I did it at a restaurant in Brizzy, which, thinking back, was probably terrifying for her. There was hundreds of people there, and it was the first time she'd met, because I had all my family there. So I had my dad, my brother, grandma, cousins, aunties. None of them knew what was happening. But yeah, it's probably something 5 years ago. If you said, you'd be engaged, where you are now, I wouldn't have believed it. But she lives in the UK, so we're still doing distance. She's moving out in September. So.
And what about best professional achievement? And I do agree with you. That's your best personal. You are batting.
Oh yeah, she's out. It's like, she's just great.
Is she blind?
Well, I think the distance helps. She forgets what I look like and what I'm like as a person. No, probably just having the chance to explore different countries. Like, the UAE was tough, but I still did it. Canada was always on my bucket list to go and work there. And then, being back in Cairns, whether this is where I stay for the next 30 years or whether other things happen, I don't know. And now being able to do the radio stuff and the commentary I just started doing with the Northern Pride, being able to do those two together was probably my dream 8 years ago when I started. So, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, hopefully it goes on to, maybe doing some stuff with the Cowboys down the track, or I don't know, so we'll see. We'll
see.
Yeah.
So if you could have dinner with 3 people, whether past or present, who would they be and why?
Past or present? Okay. I'll go Ringo Starr from the Beatles.
Why?
He was always the quietest, and I was big into the Beatles even when I was a kid, because on TI we didn't have radio stations or whatever, so we had like CDs and records, so I always listened to old school stuff, and the Beatles we had heaps of because my grandpa loved them, and I'd always watch their movies, and everyone else would have the funny bits, but Ringo would sort of be in the background. I get the occasional line, but I just think he'd be cool to have dinner with. Controversial one up here, but being from Tamworth, I've always been a Newcastle fan of the rugby league, so Andrew Johns is probably the second sort of sporty one. And third, probably my dad's dad, because I never met him, because he died when Dad was 14, but you hear all the stories, like everyone has someone like this in their family that you don't get the chance to meet, but you hear all the tales. I would have loved just to have like a conversation. Yeah.
Nice. Best piece of advice you've ever been given that you live your life by?
I hate inspirational quotes. So people that post them on Instagram, Facebook, I can't deal with them. The only one that sticks out to me that I remember from time to time, maybe it's because it was so bad that it just stuck in my head, or maybe it is good. My stepdad took over as our baseball coach when I was like 14. Played for the Reds on Martin Street, and he used to always say to us before every game, he's like, "Fake it till you make it." I don't think any of us knew what it meant. But then when I started getting into radio and stuff, and when you first start a gig, like wherever it is, you're nervous and whatever, be it playing footy or being on radio or whatever. But it would always come to my head like, "Fake it till you make it." Fake that you are amazing at this until you get there. Not saying I am, but at a place where you're more comfortable with it, kind of thing.
You're very organised.
I know. Yeah, I'm actually terribly unorganised, and I'm in trouble for it all the time at work. But that's probably the main bit that sticks out.
I would agree that you live.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, it's great. You just got to believe you can.
He'll watch this. My stepdad will be like, "Oh, I'm amazing." He'll think it's the best piece of advice, which is awful. But anyway, it did stick with me.
So what's the future for you?
Personally or career?
Whatever you want to share.
Personally, like to buy a house with Abby in the next couple of years. We really like the beaches and that kind of area, so we'll have a look. Obviously we're planning the wedding, so hopefully that actually happens. I think I was meant to have gone and seen like 10 venues by now. I've seen one, so I'll be in strife. So that's another one to tick off. Career wise, I don't know, just keep, like, as long as I'm enjoying the stuff on air, and I feel like listeners are too, for the most part. There's always going to be people that don't like you, judging by the inboxes I sometimes get. But yeah, as long as I'm creating stuff that I am content with and that I feel like people would possibly enjoy, then I'm pretty sweet career-wise. Like I said, if I'm in Cairns the rest of my life, I'll be happy. If I'm not, then it is what it is. So.
Well, thank you for having a cup of tea with me today.
I didn't drink a lot, but you smashed through your grapefruit juice.
It's actually vodka.
It actually looks terrible, but that's all.
If you'd like to see more of our episodes, then make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you never miss out on a new episode of A Cup of Tea with Bree. We'll see you next time.